Welcome back to All the Mods. I'm Bumpstar, and today's episode is going to be a little different than what I had planned, because, well, while I was mining and exploring between episodes, I found something pretty insane. There's actually an ancient city, like right underneath that mountain, which is both really cool and also kind of terrifying. In this episode, we're going to head down there and see what we can find. So the plan for today is simple: try not to die, loot the ancient city, and if everything goes well, unlock an entirely new way to farm resources. Let's get started. So before we get started, I want to make some form of enchanting, and we're going to use the enchanter from Ender.io, because I would like to enchant some of my gear and just get some basic things going, but I don't feel like setting up an actual enchanter quite yet. We're going to go ahead and place this down here, since this is where our experience is anyway, and we'll turn off our magnet so we stop picking up all of that. And yeah, I made a magnet in between episodes because I was tired of stuff, tired of not having a magnet. And then I also made this demagnetization coil, say that 10 times fast, to prevent any of the loot from being pulled in with my magnet, but it still pulls the experience, which, you know, is fine. I currently have 231 levels saved up, but we're going to need to increase that semi-soon. But the enchanter through Ender.io is pretty nice. You just require a book and quill, some form of lapis, and then just some random items to get different enchants. Like for efficiency, you know, just some redstone and some lapis, and you can go all the way up to efficiency 5 that way. So we're going to go ahead and just find the enchants that we want and bookmark them. So I'll see you in a second. So before we get going, one of the most important enchants is going to be protection. And in order to get protection, we need dark steel ingots. And in order to get dark steel ingots, we need grains of infinity. So we're going to head down to bedrock. And then once we're down at bedrock, we're just going to take our flint and steel and light it on fire. And then after doing that, we have 25 grains of infinity and 3 suspicious seeds, but it does not have a texture to it, or if that's just the texture, I'm not sure. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just do that one more time. And now that we have the grains of infinity, we can then make our void chassis, make a couple iron gears, 3 furnaces, and we can now make our alloy smelter. We're going to go ahead and just place our alloy smelter here for now, but we need to give it a capacitor. And for now, we're just going to make a basic capacitor, because for the further ones, we would need to make energetic alloy, which requires the alloy smelter to begin with, and just a few different steps to go through, and same thing for the next one. You can also find capacitors from chests, but we don't have any. So place that in here, it can now accept energy. And then we're going to go ahead and put our coal in our crusher here, because that's going to double the amount that we can make. And then we're just going to go ahead and put iron, coal dust, and obsidian inside of our alloy smelter, and that's going to start making us some dark steel. It burns rather slow right now because we are just using the basic capacitor. It would get much faster with the higher upgrades, but this works for now. While we're waiting for our dark steel, I went ahead and set up a little barrel setup here so I can just dump the resources in here. It's going to get pushed into this, and then our dark steel is going to come out here. And then I have everything else set up. So we're going to throw some lapis in here with a book and quill and some nether quartz, and that's going to get us a book of sharpness. So we can take those nether quartz out, put our grain of infinity in there, and that's going to get us infinity for a bow. Some emeralds in here, and that's going to get us fortune 3. And then we'll go ahead and throw some flint in there, and that's going to give us power. We don't have a ton of flint, but that'll work for now. Throw some arrows in here, and we get multi-shot. And then our dark steel gives us protection. And it is a full stack of dark steel to get protection 4, I believe this is. So we're just waiting for the rest of our dark steel to be able to finish that out. Then we'll just come over to our anvil here. And let's put infinity, power, and multi-shot all on a single book. And we're just going to throw that all into a bow for now. Oh, I forgot. You can't have infinity and multi-shot on the same, so we just have infinity and power. That's fine. And we're going to go ahead and put fortune on our regular pickaxe. And sharpness should hopefully... nope, not with efficiency on it. We'll hold on to the sharpness for later. And then we'll go ahead and put protection on our chest piece for now. And that should be good enough. Let's just make sure we have an arrow. But now that we're semi-kitted up with our refined obsidian armor, let's head to the ancient city. And this is just right next to our base here. Come down here, as you can see I have a bunch of torches. This is what I first stumbled across, which is like a frost fire cave. You know, pretty cool. Couple shriekers around. And then I was just coming over here. Found this little setup here with, you know, not really anything great in here, but some like gold and iron and stuff. And then right here is our ancient city. And it looks awesome. Right? Like, I mean, we've got the ancient city going on with all this ice everywhere too. So we have 3 major goals while we're down here. The first one is absolutely, hopefully, not having to deal with the Warden at all. The second one would be to find some echo shards in some of the chests. And the third one is to hopefully find some AllTheModium around here somewhere. So let's get moving around. Oh, and also, trigger. Also, our other thing that we're looking for is maybe finding a smithing template for AllTheModium, which would be crazy because we don't even have our netherite one yet. Okay, so some echo shards, awesome. Some books, some coal, we'll take all of that. Some soul, some potions. Fingers crossed that we can get some more of those echo shards though. Perfect, 2 more echo shards. Some more sharpness, some skulk. Bottles of enchanting. Absolutely, we'll take all of that. All of this is useful to us right now. Alright, do we see any shriekers around here? I think we're kind of lucking out. Hello, and Geodude, how you doing? Ooh, a catalyst, some sensors, skulk, TMs, more skulk, firecracker sapling, we'll take that. Amethyst, books, the chest over here, any shriekers. We have a sensor right there. Okay, doesn't look like we have any shriekers. Universal attractor, we already have a magnet, so we don't need that. Ooh, swift sneak, that's nice. Shrieker right there, gotta be careful. Another shrieker right there. Any sensors? Yeah, right there. So we'll avoid that chest. And we already have enough echo shards for our just our thing, so there's a shrieker right next to that. So we really don't need more than what we have, but I would like to get more than what we have. Fortunately, all of these chests have shriekers right around them. And then we also need to keep our eye open for AllTheModium. It should stand out like a sore thumb. Gold always gets me though. If you're having trouble finding AllTheModium, you can always turn off your shaders if you have them turned on. And it'll stand out even further because it glows. It kind of has a redstone effect to it. This is a pretty big ancient city. All this here, and I think there's some over here as well. I just don't know if AllTheModium spawns here since it's considered a frostfire cave, but it is an ancient city. Like, I got the achievement when I first found it. So I'm hoping that we're lucky enough to find at least one. Normally I like to come up here to look for the AllTheModium, but we have so much ice everywhere. Wait. We did it. We found AllTheModium. I almost passed over it. I thought it was gold, but it glows like redstone. So the unfortunate side effect is I never grabbed any blocks to be able to get up there. So we're gonna head home real quick and grab those, as well as a brush. All right, here we go. We have fortune on our pickaxe, so let's use that. And luckily enough, refined obsidian is good enough to farm AllTheModium. It is considered netherite tier. So let's grab it. And oh, we got 4. That was a good roll. That was pretty solid for fortune 3. So now what we want to look for is obviously more AllTheModium. More echo shards wouldn't be bad. But I also... Okay, whew. Got juked out there. I also would like to get my hands on the smithing template, which means we need to look for a specific setup within here, and they're normally around the edges of the building, and it'll be some suspicious basalt, I believe. Just don't know if we're going to be able to find it with how this whole structure is. What? More AllTheModium. Holy, I don't think I've ever been this lucky in any of my AllTheMods playthroughs to come across AllTheModium this quickly, as well as an ancient city. Like, this is insane. It is. I mean, let's open up the map. We are right here. Our base is right here, right? Like, I mean, it is. We're on top of it, and that's awesome. So let's get more AllTheModium. And that one we only got 1, which is fine though. Oh, right here. All right, so these like basalt things here, there should be like a suspicious clay. Oh, right there. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so lucky. This is absolutely insane, and we only need 1 of these because we can duplicate them later on. AllTheModium, a smithing template. This has been an insane trip to an ancient city. We stumbled upon it. I wasn't planning on looking for an ancient city for at least a few more episodes. I wanted to change it up because normally I just try and speed run to an ancient city to get AllTheModium. And I just completely stumbled upon this as I was mining and exploring a little bit. We've already gotten 5 AllTheModium ore. We have our smithing template. We have some echo shards. Like, we are set up. I'm gonna look around a bit more, see if I can find any more AllTheModium and maybe some more echo shards, and then we're gonna move on. So yeah, and honestly, we really don't even need to worry about finding more AllTheModium because what we're doing next is gonna open that up to us even further, and we'll just be able to get way more AllTheModium in the mining dimension, which is where we're headed. I would like to get my hands on a couple more echo shards before we move on. And why not try and catch Pokemon while we're down here? Got him. Cool. Okay, so we set 1 off. That's the first time though, so unless these Pokemon have been setting them off, because I think they can. Should be okay. There goes another one. Let's loot these last 2 chests and get the heck out of here. Oh, there it is. That is more than likely going to end up being the Warden. Oh, yep, there goes another one. Okay, we're just setting these all up. So get this out, and let's get the heck out of here. Nope, 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 nope. I am not dealing with the Warden. Alright, we have had a extremely successful trip. Tons of loot. Good amount of skulk. 10 echo shards, not bad. We didn't even have to use our bow. Then we're going to go ahead and put our smithing template right here in an item frame so we don't accidentally use it. So like I said, we can duplicate that. We just don't need to right now because we don't even have our netherite one. So we got 5 AllTheModium raw, and we're just going to smelt 1 down for now. And we're actually going to keep that in our backpack so it doesn't accidentally smelt with the setup. But we just want one. Wait, hold on. Hammer. We're going to go ahead and make a copper hammer here. And we can hammer this to get 2 out of the 1. And now we'll smelt those down. But we're going to save the other ones and keep them in our backpack here. But now we have AllTheModium ingots. And we got that before we even got netherite. That's crazy. But with those AllTheModium ingots, we can make them into nuggets, use an ender pearl, and get our teleport pad to get to the mining dimension. So before we go to the mining dimension, we need a couple things going in there. And one of those things is going to be power. So I've gone ahead and made 11 wind generators through mechanism. Since we set up all the mechanism a couple episodes ago, these are super easy to make. Does not take long. You just got to make a couple basic circuits. And yeah, I mean, you should have all the materials for that. Made a couple of the ultimate universal cables because that'll store a ton of extra power as well, which will help buffer this, because this isn't really going to be enough power for this, but it's going to allow it to at least run. I'm also using a oak diamond chest with 2 stack upgrades and some item pipes. And then we need to go ahead and make the builder from RF tools. And I absolutely love this machine. So we're going to need to make a machine frame, and then we can make the builder. We're going to use 4 of our nuggets that we made with some ender pearls and some blocks of redstone, and that'll get us the builder. And then we need to make the clearing quarry, I believe. So we need to make a quarry card, and that's going to require a shape card, a diamond pickaxe, and a diamond shovel. And then we just make our quarry card, and then we just surround that with some glass to make the clearing quarry. And that should be everything that we need to get started. So let's place our teleport pad down. And we'll just place it in the corner right here. Make sure to shift right click it with an empty hand. And now we're in the mining dimension. It's just a super flat world. No mob spawn in here either. Now, one of the biggest tips that I can give you is make sure to turn on your chunk borders when you're setting this up. And you're going to want to chunk load wherever you put the builder. It doesn't need to chunk load where the builder is working, just the block that the builder is in. F9 is the default key to turn this on. You may have to change a option because there is the AllTheMons tweaks mod that is in here that has the same keybind, so you're gonna have to change one of those. But to start out, we're gonna go ahead and put the builder into this chunk right next to our teleport pad here. And we're just gonna put it right in the middle. And then we're going to want to run a cable over here and just run that off to the sides, so that way we can start putting down the wind generators. And the cool thing about the mining dimension is the Y level is already pretty high, so the power generation from these wind generators should be pretty solid. And of course, we are 1 ultimate universal cable away from what we needed, so I'm just gonna break that and we'll put that one right here. And then we actually don't even need the item pipes, but we want to go ahead and put a chest on top of this, because the builder will put all the materials in whatever inventory is above it. And let's go ahead and put our stack upgrades in here now. And now we have our shape card. The builder's down here, and we need a shape card for this to run. We need to tell it what it needs to do. You can also put a filter card in here if you want to filter out certain resources, but for now we want it to mine everything that it possibly can. The only things that we're going to want to void are going to be things like dirt, cobblestone, deep slate, everything else underneath. So we want to, we want to shift right click it onto the builder. And then we get the message, now select the first corner. So for now, we're just going to come over to this chunk here. We're going to right click here, and then we're going to come over here. And we'll go ahead and set it up in a 4 chunk radius. Now we can come to the builder, place that in, and we can turn on the preview mode. But we can also take this and right click, and it's going to show us the dimensions here. You can also void all of this stuff, so we're going to void all of that because we don't want any of it. I almost forgot when setting this up. You want to set the dimensions. The 32 by 32 is where you right click for it, but then the middle one is your Y dimension, and you want to set that, you know, decently high. So let's do 350. And then your offset is how much further down it's going to go. So if we put this inside our builder and turn the preview on, this entire area is what's going to be mined. And obviously we don't need to mine this guy, so we need to bring this down a bit. And to do that, that's going to be this offset. Let's go ahead and do 175. I think that should do it, right? Let's look, and yep, the first one is right here in this grass. So now that we have this running, you could put a lever on here to turn it on and off, or you can use this button here and turn on redstone ignored. Maybe. Nope, looks like we're gonna need a lever, so let's go make one. All right, put that on here, and there we go. It's gonna start running, and it's gonna start eating through this power. Luckily, we have a good amount saved up, and let's go ahead and turn that preview off. And as you can see, it is clearing out all of this stuff in this chunk. And then once it's done with this chunk, it's going to move to the next chunk, and then the next one, and the next one. And then once that's completely done, it'll turn off. If you look on your chest here, it kind of gives you that information, and it is on Y level 228, 227. And it's 9 chunks total. And as you can see, we're already starting to get some resources in here. And once again, you want to make sure that this is chunk loaded, so that way it is always running. We'll go ahead and turn this one on too. And just over that little bit of time, we are already at 200 raw iron, 300 raw copper. We're getting some uranite, some redstone, emeralds, tons of different materials with very little work. This was super easy to make, and as soon as you have AllTheModium, it's very, very easy to set up. And now we can just let this run over time, and it's just going to start collecting everything that we're going to need. And for now, we're just going to let it build up at this chest. Eventually, we will run this to a ender chest or a dimensional chest to send back to our base, and then we can process it. Right now, we're just smelting. We're not duplicating at all, but we could set up or duplicating through mechanism or occultism or whatever mod you prefer, and start getting a ton of value out of this. Another item that you can set up is the machine infuser, and you just need dimensional shards for that. And we didn't have any, so I didn't make one, but if you set this up, you can put the actual builder inside of it with dimensional shards, which we're now getting. That will cause the builder to use less power as it's running. The one thing I am noticing though is that we are getting cobbled deep slate, even though I thought we had the void set up for this. So let me take a look. Cobbled deep slate is not on here. And as you can see, we are now officially out of power, so it's gonna run a bit slower now, but it's still going to run. And we'll just want to put a void upgrade in here for the cobbled deep slate, so that way we don't stack up and fill this entire thing up with deep slate. So now we have deep slate put in our advanced void. We have it works in GUI as well. So now we're going to keep this deep slate in here because, well, I don't feel like having to click through all of this to get it to disappear. Actually that was easy enough. But now we're going to let this build up. We can hold 16,000 of each individual item. And as this builds up, we'll start working on how we're going to process this, which probably will be mechanism. And yeah, this was a really productive episode and so much easier than it normally is. We got AllTheModium. We found an ancient city right underneath our base. I was able to get some echo shards, some AllTheModium, and even our AllTheModium smithing template, which means we need to get our hands on the netherite one so we can start upgrading all of our tools, because this builder is going to allow us to farm AllTheModium extremely easily. The builder itself won't farm the AllTheModium, but it will expose it, which means down in this hole, we might start coming across some. I hope you learned something this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.